Welcome to Cafe Damietta on WVCR 88.3 The Scene. We will dive into the rich tapestries of experiences that shape our identities. I'm your host, Kelyse Mallory, and today I am joined by a current Siena College student. She is a first-year political science major, and she'll have a conversation with us today. So Joelle, we all know how busy it is during this time of the semester. So we appreciate you taking the time today to sit down and have a conversation with us. You are our first guest on this show, and I don't think you've been on any podcasts before. So I would just like to do a formal welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm good, getting through the semester.
Yes. And since you are our first guest, for our listeners, can you just give us a little background? How did you end up at Siena, and why did you choose Siena?
Well, as you said, I'm a political science major. I came to Siena because I was interested in the 3+2 law program. I ended up not doing it, but I still found a good community in Siena, and that's why I came here.
See, and that's awesome. And for our listeners, if you're not familiar, Siena does have a law program where if you get accepted, you get to graduate early and then attend law school. Yeah, so you didn't end up in that program, but you're still doing something that you're passionate about, which is political science. And that speaks to Siena. So now that we get a glimpse of kind of why you're here, for those unaware, can you just provide us a little bit more background on what your home was like?
Well, I'm from Virginia. Very far from upstate New York. My ethnicity is Nigerian, so.
See, that is so cool. That is so cool. I feel like sometimes people don't realize that our home is so essential to our character and how we develop. And I just want to thank you for sharing all of that with us. And before we dive into more specifics of your background, can you just let our listeners know how your Siena experience has been?
Well, being from out of state, it was really hard for me in the beginning. Took me over a month to make some friends, but overall my experience has been great. Joining those clubs and activities on campus and going to the events helps with making those connections and finding yourself. So I've really liked doing that.
And that's awesome. One thing I can attest to as a Siena College biology major, senior, is that you really find your community, and being away at school helps you to find like-minded individuals and to just grow as a person. So I really value your response, and I thank you for sharing that. The only thing I admire about Siena is that we're all very different and that we can take our unique experiences to build on what Siena already has, which is kind of what you hinted on. Are there any clubs or extracurricular activities that you're involved with at Siena? And if so, tell us about them.
I would say I'm really involved, maybe too much. I'm in mock trial, BSU, which is Black Student Union. Sorry. I'm in the pep band for Siena. I am part of the Solid Step team, and I'm also a Damietta advocate / worker.
Oh, wow. You weren't lying when you said a bit too much. So if you can, just tell us a little bit about each of those clubs.
Okay, so for mock trial, or I just call it mock, it's basically just being like you have witnesses and you have lawyers, and we basically go to competitions, try to figure out, just try to expand on what we want to do in life. So mainly I would say it's for people that want to go into law.
So that's good exposure for you in your future endeavors.
Yeah, or people that just want to work on public speaking,
Right.
things like that. For BSU, it's just a place for people like want to have that growth, that allyship, to come together and just have fun, learn, experience others. same or along the same lines with Solid Step Team. It's a place for a lot of people to come together and learn about a part of Black culture, which is stepping. Yeah, and then with Pep Band, um, Pep Band is basically just me playing my instrument, going to the games, having fun, and as a Damietta advocate, you learn, you become an ally while also teaching others allyship. So yeah, that's kind of a little bit of insight on the clubs and activities I'm in.
Wow. Well, I thank you so much for sharing. And listeners, this girl is so well rounded, so well spoken, and she's only in her first year of college. Only in her first year of college, but she's already so involved. So she's out there already. And I really admire you for sharing that. And I admire your honest response because I feel like most people don't realize the importance of finding your niche while you're in college. And it seems like you found several. So kudos to you. And I just feel like it helps make the experience a bit more enjoyable. I'm sure you love going to solid step practice. I'm sure you love the pep band. I'm sure you love BSU. And it just makes your college experience more enjoyable. So I thank you for sharing that. And when we return, we will talk about other aspects of culture that most times people don't think about. I hope you ate, because if not, these next discussions might make your stomach growl. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back here on WVCR 88.3 The Saint. Hi, everyone. I just wanted to take some time out of the show just to tell you a little bit more about the Damietta Center. So this center plays a key role in fostering a diverse, inclusive, and socially just environment on campus. And I can't wait to tell you more about the work that we do. So what exactly is the Damietta Center? The center is inspired by a pivotal moment in history, St. Francis's meeting with Sultan Malik al-Kamil in Damietta, Egypt. This meeting represents the potential for peace, dialogue, and understanding across cultures and faiths. It's this legacy that guides the mission of our center. Here at Damietta, we aim to provide programs and opportunities that help students engage with the world in a culturally aware and socially responsible way. Our goal is to help students develop the skills, knowledge, and perspectives needed to navigate a diverse, interconnected world. Our mission and our purpose. So at its core, the Damietta Center is about more than just offering programs. It's about creating opportunities for students to reflect on issues like prejudice and inequality. We want to equip students to become leaders who are actively involved in creating a more just and inclusive society. Whether through experiential learning or co-curricular programs, our work complements what you learn in the classroom, pushing all of us to think critically about how we treat one another. Our aim is to foster a campus culture where diversity is celebrated and everyone feels seen, heard, and respected. We want Siena College to be a place where students can engage with people from all backgrounds and develop a deeper understanding of the world around them. So here are some key objectives of the Damietta Center. 1. Building an inclusive community. We create spaces where students can engage in meaningful dialogue, break down barriers, and contribute to an inclusive environment. Number 2, developing cross-cultural competencies. Through training and workshops, we help students build skills that are critical for understanding and respecting different cultures. Number 3, supporting identity development. We provide resources to help students explore and express their identities in a welcoming, supportive environment. Number 4, creating safe spaces. The center is also a place where students can feel safe, have their voices heard, and be celebrated for who they are. And lastly, number 5, fostering allyship. We actively work to cultivate allyship on campus, encouraging students to advocate for others and support marginalized communities. Now you might be wondering, what role do we play in Cafe Damietta? Cafe Damietta isn't what it sounds like a place to just go get some food, but no, it's so much more than that. It's a space where students can come together, share ideas, and engage in a dialogue that promotes cultural understanding and social justice. It's an informal setting where our mission of inclusion and diversity continues to unfold in everyday conversations. How can you get involved? If this work resonates with you, I encourage you to get involved. You can learn more about the Damietta Center, upcoming events, and how to join our programs by visiting siena.edu/Damietta. That is siena.edu/Damietta. There, you'll find everything you need to get started. Thank you so much for listening. We're so excited about the work we're doing at the Damietta Center, and we hope you'll join us in continuing to build a community at Siena where everyone is respected, valued, and included. Now, with all of that said, we just wrapped up a conversation discussing her hometown, her cultural background, and her life at Siena. Now, moving along to the next question that will shape the rest of our conversation. Joelle, are you ready?
Yeah, I think I'm ready.
Okay, cool. So we briefly hinted at some aspects of your background. Now I want to get extremely specific about a piece of your background. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, cool. So, growing up, what was your favorite food?
Oh, wow. I don't think I had a favorite food growing up. I ate a lot of food, but I don't think I had a favorite food.
Is there any food that when you think about it, it brings you joy?
I think when I go home, there's a food that I eat a lot, and I wouldn't say it brings me joy because I'm used to it. I would say it brings me comfort.
Ooh.
That would be like any type of rice.
Any type of rice. Now, do tell me a little bit more about this rice. Are we talking brown rice, white rice, yellow rice? What kind of rice are we talking?
So I like rice from Chipotle.
Oh, okay.
I like white rice with stew. I like coconut rice, and I like fried rice, and I like jollof rice.
So you see how you said rice, but there's so many different types of food that you can make with each of those rice, which is so cool. Thank you so much for sharing. Tell me a little bit more about coconut rice. What does that remind you of, or when would you have that dish?
My mom doesn't really make it often, so I will say like it's like comfort every now and then. The dish is like I don't even know how to make it for real, so I can't even tell you. But well, I kind of have like an idea of how it's made, but it's like my mom makes it for Thanksgiving occasionally, or like if it's like Mother's Day, my sister will make it for my mom because my mom loves it so much. And I don't know, like it's just something that's so simple yet like reminds me of like my childhood, I guess you could say, or it reminds me of home because even within my culture, not a lot of people eat it.
Right.
So
it's something I've never even heard of.
Yeah, so like I feel like it's just something that's really close to my family. So
thank you so much for sharing about your coconut rice. And I've heard of jollof rice. Jollof? Jollof. Okay. Jollof. Listen. Okay, jollof rice. Can you tell me a little bit about that and what kind of meals you would have with that and what that reminds you of?
Okay, so that's like default to be honest. Like there's a lot of like different things that can be put into it with like you put peppers, bell pepper, spicy pepper, tomatoes, just a bunch of red vegetables and fruits. Well, fruit being tomato. Don't go putting fruit in jollof.
Right. Tomatoes, y'all.
Tomatoes. You blend it all together, have the rice like boil into that mixture, And yeah, there's just so much like different ways that they put it together.
Mm-hmm.
And you can use it with like different types of rice too, like different rices being like long grain or like basmati or jasmine, weirdly enough. Yeah, so that reminds me of church on Sunday. All the kids going to the aunties and the uncles, asking them for some jollof after church, because that's the only thing that you would expect to eat on a Sunday afternoon.
Interesting. I hope our listeners are taking notes. Y'all know how to make coconut rice. Y'all know how to make jollof rice. Interesting. Thank you so much for sharing. And since we're talking about all of these different foods, what smells are coming to mind?
Well, I wouldn't say any smells come to mind, but I'm just gonna kind of rephrase the question a little bit. When I think of these foods, like the smell that I think is like a smell of like peace. Like when I go and smell freshly made food of like any type of rice, I just like smell it, and then like, you know, like when you like kind of like go back and you're like
Yes.
Like that type of feeling where it's just like you're not really thinking about, oh, like I got work to do. You'd be like,
like I'm about to eat good.
I'm about to eat good.
Yes.
Exactly. I don't know what that feeling is called, but that's why I said like comfort, I'd say. Because even though I'm used to having it and I'm used to like that being made, it's still something that brings me joy when I see it or when I smell it, if that makes sense.
No, that totally makes sense. And I really appreciate you for sharing that, because I feel like comfort food is really an aspect of our culture that people don't really think about. A food can be so comforting that, like you said, you're not thinking about all of the responsibilities. You're not thinking about being a student. In that moment, you're just thinking of that food that you're about to eat. And it's so comforting to just be able to have these meals that remind us of home, that remind us of happy moments. Like you said, a regular Sunday, and all the kids are running to go look for some rice. That's a feeling that cannot be described. So I really appreciate you for sharing that. And you kind of gave us some insight on a day where jollof. I'm so sorry. You kind of gave us some insight on a day where jollof rice would be made. So if there are any other rices that you said fried rice. Are you thinking Chinese food?
No. But that's pretty good too.
Yeah,
I can't lie.
Listen.
Chinese food is so good. But,
okay. So give us a typical day where you would have fried rice at home or wherever.
Fried rice, I feel like fried rice is like a party thing, like a party rice along with jollof rice. But like I said, that's the default. All Africans go to jollof rice or rice and stew. But
and sorry to interrupt. For our listeners who may have just tuned in, can you just remind us of your ethnicity?
Yeah, so I'm Nigerian. Yeah.
Okay, yay. So just tell us a little bit more about this fried rice. And you said party, so your music's going.
Yup.
Food's out.
Line's always long for any food, to be honest.
Yup.
For fried rice, yeah, I would definitely say it's like a party rice. I don't really like. It's not really something I eat at home. Occasionally, occasionally being like years apart. Occasionally,
right?
But it has like vegetables in it. And what I like most is when it has shrimp in it, because shrimp fried rice is just so good, because you also get that little bit of protein. But then there's also like other meats that people will put into it, or if you make it at home, people that don't have shrimp, they'll just put chicken inside of it, and it's like you can work your way around how personalize it for what you want to eat too. And yeah, that fried rice just reminds me of parties. Going to a party, I'm expecting to see fried rice. If I don't see fried rice, then it's not a party, it's a get together.
My only experience with fried rice is Chinese food.
And that's pretty good too.
Yeah, very tasty.
Love it.
Well, interesting. I keep saying interesting, but I'm so intrigued with all of this food that we're talking about, and especially the rice, and how you told me already 4 different types of rice and 4 different scenarios. So I really appreciate you for sharing that. I think when people ask about your cultural background, it's never in the sense of what food do you eat, or what does this food remind you of, or how does this food make you feel. It's always, what are you?
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of, with this podcast, I want it to be more of little pieces that shape our identity. And I feel like food is a little big piece, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I understand what you mean.
Yeah, so when I feel like when we take a step back and look at the little pieces that shape our culture, little pieces being the food in this regard, we can appreciate cultures without having the lens that society places on us. So that's great.
Yeah.
Was there anything else you wanted to share before we wrap up a little bit?
No, I don't think so, but I really appreciate you, and I appreciate the ability to even be here and just give some insight about my culture and have a place where I can talk freely. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Joelle, for joining us, and thank you so much for all of the incredible information that you shared with us today. I hope y'all were taking notes because y'all know how to make at least 2 different rices today, right? Right. Joelle, thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you so much for all of the incredible information that you shared. We're so grateful that you took the time to join us and share your experiences. Your thoughts on food have provided a lot of value, and I'm sure our listeners will benefit greatly from your experiences. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. If you enjoyed and you want to find out more information about Damietta, you can go to siena.edu/Damietta. That is siena.edu/Damietta. We hope you enjoyed today's episode, and we'll see you soon right here on WVCR 88.3 The Saint. Until next time, bye-bye.